Right, on the desk today we have a radio that's come in for service from Steve G. He sent a few radios in now, and he sent in a Maxcom 7E with the battery pack on the back. I'm not sure I've seen one with the battery pack before. I mean, it looks in pretty tidy condition, certainly the case there does, doesn't it? And we've got the auxiliary power socket adapter for the car, and he's also sent in to help with testing a little adapter for the antenna socket as well, and it's also come with the supplied telescopic antenna, which looks pretty good, so we could always give that a try. Perhaps we could try that when we're out our little mobile testing spot, which we've been using with Tyler lately, so that would be quite useful. And what I'll also do on this video is, if you've not seen my video about the Sinad meters that I've got up for sale, I mean, as I'm recording this video they may well have all sold out already, but I thought what I would do is on this video, rather than use the Sinad meter up on the bench, I would use one of my meters here, just to show you it working with this Maxcom 7E. So hold on to that a little bit later on in the video. We'll check the Sinad values with that meter, just show you how useful it is. Okay, right, I think we'll take this out of its clothing, or ropa, as you say in Spain. I'm learning Spanish at the minute, not that you can tell. I've been doing it for half a year, so I'm almost getting there. Okay, it looks a little bit, just a little bit dirty there, a bit dusty, and it's got some of this. You often see this on the chrome of the control knobs. You can get that off. The best way to do that, as long as it's not flaking too much, very lightly with some just soapy water, and very lightly with a Brillo pad, that'll come off. But I wouldn't do that if there's any of the chrome flaking off, so just be a bit careful with that. And you do have to be careful, even with like the foam that I use, you do have to be careful on some of these surfaces as well. If you're not sure, just a damp cloth is probably your best option, but I think this will clean up okay. It's got some signs of yellowing. I mean, we saw that really with the Quasar radio, didn't we? If I just pull that out there, you can see there we've got a fair bit of yellowing on display there, where it may well have been in the sun at some point. We've got a date on the back of it of June 1982. I remember it well. And then on the bottom we've got our high and low power switch for there, our antenna connection, and then our external 12 volt DC, and we will stick to that on this radio today, as it says 12 volt. I'll just check in the manual. He has supplied the manual as well, and let's just have a little look. As we've got the manual, we don't always have the manual, do we? 13.2 volts it says there, the power source. Okay, I think, well, if it says it in the book that it's 13.2 volts from a nominal, then we'll do that. We'll run it at 13.2. Okay, so in transmit it's doing the full 4 watts. Appears to be on frequency on, well, it's a little bit low on the SDR actually, that'll need bringing up a little bit. Let's switch it down to low power. See what low power is doing. Yeah, low power is about 200 milliwatts, 300 milliwatts there. So that could do with coming up a little bit. But other than that, that seems to be okay. Let's see what it's doing on receive. Okay, it's nice and clean. That's at 1 microvolt. I'll just roll it down. .3. It's getting noisy at about 0.2, which is about right for one of these rescue radios. So that's looking okay. I'm sure we better improve that a little bit. I need to get the knobs off the front. They can often be stiff on these rescue sets. You've seen me do this before, just a nice bit of soft string underneath the control knob, like so. And very often you can keep winding it on like this, but very often you can just, once you've got a couple of turns around it, you can just gently pull like this. You see that? And then the knob will come off. There we go. And it's always, you definitely don't ever want to get screwdrivers on there, start levering and things like that, because you'll damage the fascia, you'll damage the outside edge of this, and it's not cool, particularly when it's not your radio and you're repairing it for someone else. If it comes back with more damage than it went out with, that's not very good. So let's do this other one. Just tie that up, and like I say, I often find you can just pull like that, and then once you can get your fingers underneath them, you can just lift it off. So we'll do the channel one. That might be a little bit harder. Let's see if that go. Get this string. This is really cheap string. I think I said I got this from Wilco's or the pound shop or somewhere like that. It's almost it's thin string. It's thing that sort of spreads around. It's decent. There we go. That one was quite stiff. I did have to keep winding around until it finally popped off. And there we go. We've got all of the controls off. We can take them downstairs and give them a really good clean. Okay. Once you've got the controls off the front there, you can then lift the front piece off, exposing your innards. That looks very clean inside there, doesn't it? Obviously it's been protected very well by the case there. Look at the inside of the radio. I'd definitely say that has not been touched. So this will be the first time for its alignment. Now we shouldn't need to get to the back of the board. I know from experience if you do, you have to kind of disconnect this antenna stub at the top here, and I don't want to go doing that. So I'm not sure if I've got the documentation on one of these in terms of a photograph I've taken of this, so I might just take a photograph of this if I haven't, just so I've got one for the next time I do one. I have actually had one of these. I did actually get one in, but it was in a pretty sorry state. I'm not sure if I've got any records on it, so we'll have a look. Okay, we've got the VCO up here. I don't see any reason to touch that. We'll check it on all the channels. Our frequency adjust there. There's our TX lineup down this side. So we've got deviation there, TX, 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 and there's another TX down there. And then we've got RX, 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 a receiver there. We've got our FM detector there. And we've got our squelch adjuster there. There's no low power adjust on this. So low power is what it is. So okay, let's I think it was slightly off frequency, so let's get it on frequency. There we go, 2779125. Spot on. It's doing a full 4 watts. I'll just try and tweak it to its maximum there, and we'll see if we can squeeze a bit more out of it. Yeah, that would actually come up nicely to over 4 watts if you wanted it to. We've set it bang on the 4 watts though, and that should be fine. So it's a deviation now, and don't know what it was doing. I'll get the tone generator out and we'll have a little play around. Alright, deviations are okay. Just have a look at rather a strange AGC circuit on this though. It does clamp, and so it can play around a bit if you're testing these. A lot of these rescue radios have a similar circuit. Yeah, okay, it's just received then, isn't it? These aren't the best on receive. None of these rescue radios are super quiet, but we'll see. If it's around about the 1 microvolt mark, I'd be pleased. So let's plug it in and try it out and see what it's going to do. And this is where we bring in the brand new Sinadalizer. I would say, if you've not seen the quick video I've done on this, have a quick look, and we'll use the Sinadalizer to set the receive. And each meter comes with its own lead, I mentioned on the video. You can just literally plug that across your back of your speaker. Obviously, if you're using this for CBs with a jack plug, you can just get a straight mono jack in and out the back. Do it that way, but we're going to go straight across the speaker. Right, got this set up here. I'm literally running it off a 9-volt battery. I did sort of ponder on whether to make a space for a battery inside it, because you could make it completely battery powered. One thing I would say is make sure you've got a nice clean supply to go onto it. I probably wouldn't run it off a switch mode supply because it'd bring in a bit of noise. So I'm just running it off a battery, and you can see we've got our meter is on. Okay, so we'll just turn the volume up. Right then, let's see if we can just improve things. I'll be doing well to get much more out of this, I think, but we'll certainly give it a go. Right, so that's the first one I'm turning. Isn't making a huge amount of difference. There we go, see, that's getting worse there. We can take it right off. So bring it back, and it reacts and responds really nice and quickly, this. So we're getting just over 10, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 and a half, that is. And then we'll try the other There's only 3. I've already done the detector off camera with the oscilloscope, so that's already been done. And we're not getting much there, are we? There we go. So I reckon we're just on the 10, I think. About 10, that's as good as we can get nearer to 12 with 1 microvolt. Obviously we can pop the signal up a bit if we take it up. There we go. For 12 dB, we're looking at about 1.86 microvolts there for 12 dB. So 1 microvolt is the spec that it says in the book anyway. So there you go, that's the Sinadalizer, and it's just a great tool for tweaking the radios. You know, obviously your ears are probably the best tool you've got, but I just thought I would show you that, as I may well have sold out of those by now, but that is as good as we can do on receive. And what we'll do now is the squelch. Oh yes, one thing I forgot to mention, what I use as well with the meters is these little inline audio transformers. I think I mentioned these on there. Just stops any ground loops and things getting an effect in your reading. So I do recommend using those with, well, any equipment when you've got separate grounds connecting up in between. It certainly is a great tool to use if you're doing anything with Zello or audio inputs to your handies and stuff. I've covered that on a separate video. If you look at my Zello video, you'll see that on there. Okay, so that's all looking great. The thing as well is with these Sinad readings, you'll get a different reading off of this one between my one and between your friend's one down the road, and on a different day you'll get a different reading. It's you know, just by the very nature of it, you know, they're not, you know, each one is not accurate to each other one. I could go into detail why that is, but what you'll find is even if this was out of calibration, even if this was miles out of calibration, because you're just looking at peaking that needle into that direction, it doesn't actually matter. This could be wildly out of calibration and you would still tune your radio receiver for the absolute peak performance, because you're just looking to get that needle as hard over to that in that direction as you can. I mean, okay, you're not going to give somebody a valid reading, you know, because it might be slightly off the scale, let's just say, there when it's 12 and it's really down at 10 or something. But that doesn't really matter. You're tuning the receiver for the best performance. And you know, none of this kit, this or even those old Sinaders, you know, like those, you wouldn't find modern, you know, labs using those in critical, you know, like SpaceX won't be using those for measuring parts to go in rockets and stuff. So, you know, you just have to be sensible. These are great little devices for what they do and what you can do with them with these CB radios. So there we go. Well, we'll just adjust the squelch. We've got a 100 microvolt signal going in, and we'll just adjust it so it comes on with the squelch at full. There we go. Just wind it back. And there. Right, that's the squelch all set up nicely. Well, as nice as it can be. It's not the very best squelch in this, I'll be honest. Okay, it's just a clean up now. It's really clean on the inside, nothing to do there. We'll just get the cases buttoned up. I mean, I could, the front grille is quite dirty-ish, so we'll give that a bit of a spray foam. I could take the bits out of the case there to do that, because they're screw fitted, they're not glued in or anything like that. So it is quite dirty on this front case, so I might quickly do that. It'll only take a minute. Just remove the speaker, remove the microphone carefully, and then we'll give that a nice spray foam on the front just to clean it up a bit. There we go, that's nice and sparkling. Knobs have come up nice. Bit of corrosion around the edge of the plate there, can't do a lot about that, but the fascia's nice and clean. It's looking really good. Badge is good on the back. All good in the hood. Okay, right, we can pop that back into its little case and we'll try the batteries in it. I'm not sure if that's going to work, but I've done as good as I can with that. We'll quickly try a set of batteries, see if it works anyway. Right, That's come up nicely. It's Friday night. We'll take this out with Tyler tomorrow and do our little test. I'll pick another radio off the one you might find interesting. Maybe we'll look at using the Interceptor TC300 tomorrow. That might be good, and we'll throw that on there and give it a test out on site. Right, we've broken down in the same place again. What are the odds of that happening, eh? But luckily we've got the Maxcom 7E to save the day. Yeah, I'm really pleased how well this is cleaned up. It looks spiffing, doesn't it? And this leather case looks really, really nice on it. And it's protected the radio somewhat, I think, over the years. Okay, so let's get this hooked up. What we're going to do is we're going to test it with the rooftop antenna first, and then we're going to switch over and try the telescopic antenna to see if it was in a real stuff, whether that would cut through or not. So let's give it a try. Right, and today we're going to run the system off of this wicked sweet setup. If you've not seen this, go and have a look at the powering your CB radio off of power tool batteries that I did, where we've got the DeWalt power tool there, and we can wind this to whatever voltage that we want and it will stay fixed. We're going to set this at 13.2, that's what we've used on the bench, but we certainly obviously got to be a bit careful plugging it into the car, because it could go above that and we don't want that. So I'll get this all plugged in and we'll see if we can raise Tyler. I took it out of its case. I think it looks nicer out of its case, doesn't it? And there's the setup down there just on the floor, and we just plugged the cigarette lighter adapter into it so we can just power it directly off the bottom of the radio here. And yeah, we'll see how we get on. We'll see if we can get hold of Tyler then. Hi Tyler, this is your dad.
I'm on a Maxcom 7E out in our usual location, and it's had a little bit of work done on the video, as you've seen on the video, and it seems to be working well now. And you're using an interesting radio at your end, aren't you? That's got all those lights on the front of it. I wonder how it sounds to you. You hopefully will sound okay here. Let's find out.
I can hear you pretty well.
Yeah, same here. You sound fine. You sound absolutely fine. Perhaps not quite as clear as on the last.
Fine. You sound absolutely fine. Perhaps not quite as clear as on the last video that we did. That can just be the microphones on either the sets or whatever. But do you want to give us a slightly longer over? Just give us the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog and testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1.
A quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog, testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1.
Okay, yeah, that sounds fine.
Okay, yeah, that sounds fine, absolutely fine. So what we'd do then, I said we'd show the viewers what the telescopic antenna works like. So if you give me a minute, if you stop recording in a second, give me a minute and I'll swap over to the external antenna. Of course, it's probably starting to rain here now.
Okay.
Here we are with the external antenna. We'll see if we can get him with that. Hi there, Tyler. I don't know if you can hear me now. I'm on the external antenna. Can you hear me? Nothing going on the external antenna. That's not working at all from here. That's a shame. That's a real shame. Right. Hi, Tyler. Yeah, okay, yeah. It didn't work on the telescopic antenna.
Telescopic antenna, unfortunately, I couldn't hear anything. So whether there's something wrong with that, I'm not sure, but we've not had much joy with the supplied antennas on these radios, unfortunately. But yeah, so I've just plugged back in. We're still on channel 1, if anyone is interested. It's using 0.85 of an amp, I think, here to transmit. We should be doing a full 4 watts. It might be doing a bit more than that. So, so is it still sounding all right at your end there?
Yeah, it still sounds good.
Okay, well that's superb. All right, well thanks for your help, Tyler. We'll let you get back to what you were doing, and thanks for your help with this test. And I'll wind the video up for the viewers. So thanks again. We'll speak to you later.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, so probably not quite as good as the realistic that we had in a couple of videos ago, but still really usable and very, very good. And I do like the realistic. That is nice. My favourite is obviously the Cybernet ZX. That's my favourite of the rescue radios, but this still works fine, absolutely fine. The speakers are probably a little bit bassier than I would like, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. It's still quite a small speaker, but it's certainly cleaned up nice, and they're nice to have in the collection. There's a few rescue radios, and I think it'd be nice to get a good example of all of them if you're a collector like myself. And I think I did have one of these, but I don't have a good one of these. At some point I'll probably pick one up for a bit of fun. But yeah, that's been good. So yeah, if you have been, and I hope you've enjoyed watching this little tune-up of the Maxcom 7E. If you haven't already, please think of liking and subscribing. And thanks to everybody that contacted me about the Sinad meters. I think they've pretty much all gone now by the time of this video going out. So if you have contacted me and I haven't got back to you, I have been inundated with with requests. So yeah, thanks ever so much to everyone that has got contacted me so far. So anyway, if you have been, thank you ever so much for watching. It's been great. Take care. We'll catch you on the next one.